this July the 4th, Independence Day for the United States of America. And the word independence, the word freedom, these are really important words right now. And today I wrote the title, Time to Celebrate. Yes, this can be a very celebratory time, certainly. But is it another wake-up call? Well, I just had a wake-up call because I nearly caused a fire and I could smell this burning, and I'm like, oh no, I left the rice on too long. And there's burning smell throughout the apartment. I was very, very lucky that I managed, to run outside, and the smoke and everything, I just caught it by the, just such a small amount. So Uranus and the moon are conjunct today. So the moon is the emotional self and Uranus is surprises. So I can tell you that was certainly a big surprise. It's the second time I've burned something in just a couple of days. So something must be too hot, too extreme. What are you finding that's extreme in your life right now? We've got extreme energies. Extreme heat in Northwest America, extreme heat in Canada, in Siberia, in Greece. There's extremes happening. And this promises, because when we look at the astrology of America's birthday, and America is so important, pivotal to the rest of the world, because America holds that reserve currency, the banking system. What happens in America affects all of us deeply, profoundly. So what does this birthday look like? We've got this fixed energy again, this energy of fixity. Where am I going to sleep? Where am I not awake enough? It's like we have to stay awake. I can tell you these burned pans have certainly kept me awake, certainly quickly. What's keeping you awake? What's stopping you from going back to sleep? Gosh. Yeah, it's a big day. It's a big day. We're on the way to the Pluto return of the United States in February. And this day today, we've got Venus and Mars in Leo. We've got Saturn in Aquarius and Moon and Uranus in Taurus. So the fixed energy suggests that we're going to see more extremes, more polarity, more duality. And we won't be able to go back to sleep again, even though the situation is given out in the media that, oh yes, the holiday season is beginning, the tourism season's beginning, we'll be going back to something. There's little nuggets here. And the fixed energy suggests that there will be polarity between those who say this is right and those who say that is right. Huge polarities. And we have this set up in our society. England beating Ukraine these matches that are set up. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there's something kind of crazy in it as well. Yeah, my Auntie Jenny, 99-year-old Auntie Jenny, she keeps saying there's nothing but football on. And if it's not football, it's Wimbledon. She can't get away from it. But she said she was watching something else and then turned to the news. And yesterday saw that England had scored 4 goals. She said, 4 goals? How did you do that in such a short time? But we've set ourselves up to compete against one another. And there's this against energy. So what are you for? What are you against? And how do we begin to move to the Aquarian energy, which is going to force us sooner or later to find ways, even if we disagree vehemently with one another, to work together. So yeah, polarities. Where are you seeing polarity in your life? You might find that 1 minute things are moving nicely along. All of a sudden you've screeched to a halt. Nothing's happening. Nothing. Suddenly. You might find that the climate is affecting you. You might find your emotions are affecting you. Your health may suddenly change from one extreme to another. And it's as if with this Uranus in Taurus energy, nowhere is safe anymore, not in the old way. Thank you, Janice, I appreciate that. Not in the old way where you used to be able to say, oh, well, for the next 20 years or for the next 5 years, I think I'm going to be here or stay in this job. There's no more of that continuity because we've got all these fixed squares going on, which are breaking the continuity, what used to feel safe. Scientists are saying that with global warming, whichever you believe, some people believe it's global cooling, although I'd have to question it right now in Greece. Whatever it is, how are you bringing these extremes into a balance and not pushing yourself off balance, like me burning food here, burning pans? That's very off balance. It's very much a wake-up call to pay attention. What do the Pleiadians say? I'll bring them in a little later. If everyone would like that, I will. So listen to the inner voice. Yes, thank you, Jennifer. Absolutely. Tenderness. Yeah, you're in the right place for tenderness, Wian Dewal. This is a family here. This is a family atmosphere. This is a supportive, co-creative family. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Drew. Family. We're family. We may have completely different opinions. We probably look very different. We probably had very different upbringings and families. But we can come together stronger than blood family, stronger than isolated pockets. And I hope that you feel empowered, inspired, enthused, and more in touch with you and your individuality and how important you are on these live streams, whether you hear it now together or whether you have it later. Thank you for liking the video. Lucy and Drew are encouraging you to do that. If you would just put a thumbs up, please, that will help more of our brothers and sisters to come along and join us. So we're looking at Where have we gotten ourselves stuck? And where have we got to unstick ourselves? Now that applies globally to governments, to financial systems, educational, health systems. It's all up. But where in your life do you know that you're just a little bit stuck? Where in your life do you need that wake-up call to become more conscious? Because we can create new systems, but if we create the new systems out of the old dog eat dog, let's destroy one another, hurt one another, have military arms to shoot and kill one another, let's have you don't see nature doing that. But we've been doing that. If we come out of the same consciousness again, even with new so-called systems, they're not going to work. We have to come from an awake consciousness, a different one. Okay. So yeah, think about where you're stuck and where you need to unglue yourself, where you could do something differently. It seems that I had to go all the way to New Zealand to unstick myself. And I am writing about it, and I will, once it's completed, because I'm still integrating that experience of going all over to the other side of the earth and then coming back to Greece. But much got unstuck in that process. Daily meditation has been transforming for Janice. Thank you. Feeling that you failed is a stuck belief. Sweet love and feels forever. Like that, Bess. All right, so we're going to be looking at Aquarian energy. What's building up now is everything to do with the fact that 2, 3, 4 things that are important astrologically. Jupiter goes retrograde into Aquarius on the 29th of this month and will stay there until the 29th of December. So that's Jupiter in Aquarius. Saturn is still in Aquarius. So Jupiter and Saturn are in Aquarius. Wake-up call for our social systems, our social media. How are we using it? Are we using it to numb and dumb ourselves down and to go to sleep? Or are we using it to wake up and to help one another to wake up? Thank you, Mariana, I appreciate that. We can't go back to sleep. We've had our wings clipped, no matter how much they want to get that tourism industry going. With Saturn in Aquarius, limiting aviation, limiting flight, I don't think we're going to be flying around in the way we were. So it's about making it work where you are. So we've got Jupiter and Saturn, as I say, in Aquarius. Uranus and Moon together in Aquarius today, very significant day. So this is the shake-up of the emotional body, the awakening of the emotions. What am I feeling? What's going on internally with my body? Am I so much in my mind, which I obviously was when the rice was burning? Am I so distracted that I'm not present in my body? And this is a call for presence, a call to be really here. The earth is exploding. That's also the energy. The earth is saying, I've had enough. Can't take much more of this, guys. Tenderness is what's needed for the earth. Tenderness is what's needed. Yet we can't go to sleep anymore. Thank you, Naked Truth. Absolutely. Yep, Anne, hi. Nice to have you here. Space flight is moving at rapid speed. That's something different, isn't it? Because your average person can't go off into space, at least not yet. But we're talking about things that were available. The whole world used to be available to us. Oh, just hop on a flight here, hop on a flight there, go here, go there. You didn't have to think about it. Now you've got to have certificates, you've got to have tests, you might have to do quarantine. It's not so straightforward. What is important? So we've got this dance going on, this Uranian dance. That's how I see it, because on the 24th of July, we've got a full moon in Aquarius at 1 degree. And then the next month, on the 22nd of August, we've got another full moon in Aquarius at 29 degrees. Very unusual, but because one's a very early degree and the other one is a very late degree. So we're encompassing the energy of Aquarius and its full moons and the Jupiter and the Saturn, which activates the Uranus in Aquarius, in Taurus. So this is a wake up for us to pay attention to your habit patterns, to pay attention to being authentic, to being you, to being as quirky as you want to be, being real, and finding ways that we can wake one another up, keep one another awake. I'm reminded of the Bee Gees song, Staying Alive. Yeah, I'm not going to sing it. The Pleiadians sing better than me. But, you know, we need to rename that song, Staying Awake. Yeah, staying awake. Got to keep pinching yourself. Where am I going to sleep? We've got to watch what's happening. We've got to be aware that we are part of one system, We've got a situation, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. Goodness, he wrote about this 100 years ago almost. And he talked about the conditioning of the thoughts of the citizens, the behaviors of the citizens, that we would have mass distractions. And we do. We have non-stop distractions. What with television, YouTube, Instagram, phones. Television puts us into this hypnotic trance that reduces the ability to think critically, to be awake. So we're going into the potential area of transhumanism, where we've got machines and robots that are going to take over work. They are. Jobs are not going to be there. We've got to see what we're going to do with our spare time. The Aquarian energy, the uniqueness of you. And on this special day, Venus and Mars are in Leo, the opposite energy. The heart, the creativity. Bringing that out in you and then sharing that with the whole. But these distractions, we have to be careful that they're not lulling us into more sleep and then allowing, thank you, Mary, I appreciate that, and then allowing our freedoms to be subtly taken away and not even knowing it, not even being aware that this is happening. Yeah, it's like the rug is being pulled out from under us. And what are the freedoms? This is Independence Day, United States, and freedom is one of the key words of America. You're free to create your life, land of the free. But is it? And what does freedom mean to you? Khalil Gibran says, life without liberty is like a body without spirit. What are the freedoms that we must be careful we are not hypnotized into just losing? What are the medical freedoms, the health freedoms that are important to you? Still, what are the freedoms that we need to stick up for and stand up for and not allow, once again, the few to take control because we went to sleep? So there's this, as I say, I'm seeing this planetary dance of wanting to go back to habit patterns and security and stability and safety, and not finding it, and not allowing ourselves to go into fear, but seeing that this is all part of a much bigger picture as we move into this age of Aquarius, where nature is pushing us, maybe kicking and screaming, possibly, to come together in the awakened consciousness. When we're in the womb, all our needs are taken care of. Yeah, everything you need, it's sorted. But we're not conscious of it in the womb. But when we come out, now we have an opportunity, or I think nature is pressing us now, that we must be conscious and awake in every possible moment. So how are you becoming more awake? How can we keep one another more awake? Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for liking the video. Many of you did. Thank you for liking. It brings more of this beautiful family together. What are you doing to stay awake? Susan's feeling a pull to go to New York. Great. What can you do to keep yourself from hypnotically going into the trance? Can you limit your social media? Very difficult to turn the off button, isn't it? Once you're in it, wow, like being hypnotized. So how can we ring bells for one another? Yeah. Thank you, Joyous. Thank you. So there's nothing to fear. I think this is the thing we need to remember. There's nothing to be afraid of. The fear element is what freezes us like deer in the headlights. No, not to be afraid, but to see that there is a bigger picture, and that the more conscious we become, the new systems that we introduce will enable us to have life outside the womb with all our needs met. Everything you could have dreamed of, only this time, consciously. Using crystal water, thank you, Alicia, to clear programming. That's how you've been keeping awake. Great. Daily Kundalini practice. Thank you, Cynthia. Not listening to the news, Linda. Awesome. All right. Meditation, crystals, these videos, thank you. Rituals. What are the things? Yeah. So that's important. Thank you. A load of you just like the video. I appreciate that. Thank you. So let's not be fearful of corrupt governments. Let's not be fearful of the vaccines, or not. Let's not be fearful of where COVID came from, or not. It's a bigger picture that we can't see right now. But if we have a consciousness together as a family that says, hey, we won't be intimidated here. We want to stay awake. We're going to support one another. And through our conscious state, we will find solutions to the world's biggest problems that we've not yet been able to find. Learning to love washing the dishes. That's brilliant. It doesn't matter what you do, as Eckhart Tolle says. What matters is the level of consciousness that you bring to what you're doing. So even if you're cleaning the toilet, what's the level of consciousness that you have at that time? Healing with food and supplements. Thank you, Sarah. Lovely. Staying away from negative people. Great, Jane. Yeah. Well, governments is supposed to serve the people. Supposed to. So I think there is a releasing of resistance to what is. So if you've got something in your life that you cannot change, then accepting it is halfway there to releasing it, and it begins to change more quickly. Resistance stops it from changing quickly. Absolutely. Thank you, Jimmy. The pros and cons of watching the news and not, because there is always a chance of throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Absolutely. But you may wish to limit your watching of the news to 10 minutes a day, half an hour a day, but then stop. The difficult thing is the hypnotic trance that we come under. Now, there's something I really want to cover here, because I've been thinking and meditating about this a lot because of all this Aquarian energy that's just pouring in over this next 6 months. It's really strong. So it's going to activate the Uranus in Taurus, this energy of finding our safety inside of one another and not looking for it too much externally. We need some externals, but simplifying your life. Not needing so much stuff to carry around like a pack horse with you. Yeah. So this is what I want to discuss with you. Scientists have been trying to find out now, what is consciousness? And how much are we influenced by society? All right, and now we've become a global society. This is super important. So what does this mean? Well, they did some experiments. Let's not underestimate how much we are influenced by one another. They did some experiments where there was one person who was like the test experiment amongst a group of people. And they were shown a diagram. And they were asked which picture looks as though it's, you know, a bit longer than the other two. And it was really obvious that the third picture was longer than the other two. But the rest of the group said it was the second picture. So there were about 15 people and each one was saying, no, it's the second, the second, the second. And so this person who's surrounded by all these other people suddenly begins to question themselves. Initially says, okay, the third, but then another picture comes along. Same thing, it's obvious, but the group has been told to focus on something other than the obvious. And by the time this goes on for a few experiments, the person's questioning their own understanding, their own perception. That's how much we can be influenced. And this is going to be one of the biggest challenges as we move into this Aquarian energy. How much can you stand clear in your view, your opinion, what's true, what's not, what's important to you, what's not, amidst the bombardment of social conditioning, of social mesmerization, mass delusion. Yeah, there's a lot here. Yeah, This is really big stuff. Thank you for liking. And this is because everything's shifting, you know, do we have global warming? Do we have there are certain things that you might not know, but there must be certain things in you, certain freedoms, since we're on the Freedom Day, that you treasure and you value, and you're ready to stand up for them, no matter what. Maybe you'll be another Rosa Parks. Who are you going to be? Because we do influence one another. Now, that can be very positive. Here on the live stream, with wonderful Lucy, with lovely Drew, with all of us coming together like this, we can uplift one another, inspire. Make this a safe place, intentionally. So we have the ability to socially influence one another for the good, but we have to be aware, more conscious of when this social influence is based on lies, delusion, illusion. That's the question. So how are we going to move to the new earth? Well, it's by staying awake, by becoming conscious, by being in the body, by being aware, by not living in mind pictures. So, yeah, we are in the process of being in, as hard as it is, it's a wonderful time to be alive. It's a time with more opportunities, Uranus, high opportunities, ETs coming in for sure, but high possibilities and opportunities are here now. In this discomfort, more than ever before. So it really is a question of inclusion and not exclusion, joining and not separating. So not my country, but the whole of humanity, not my religion. And this is Eckhart Tolle, I'm quoting here, but consciousness for all human beings. And not my species, but all sentient beings. Animals and plants and stones and everything, trees, are a part of us. So don't wait. These are painful awakenings, but there's no need to wait. We are here. This energy of Aquarius is going to bring surprises, new ideas, doing things completely differently than you've done before. And creating new social structures. I'm reminded of yet another quote by Eckhart Tolle, who says, pleasure is something that is derived from outside of you, and joy arises from within. So your joy can be unstoppable. Your joy to be alive does not have to be affected by certain pleasures that you may not be able to enjoy at the moment. But the joy of seeing a shoal of fish in the sea the other day when I was going for my swim, ooh, all these lovely stripy little fishes. What are those joys? These are just joys. In our Greek class, the teacher kept asking us, it was an exercise, I know, but what do you do on Saturday evenings? You know, this importance of Saturday evenings. You know, what are the special things you do? And I had to say to her, every day is a special day, not just a Saturday evening. special, idietico, oh gosh, idietero. Still can't get this Greek into my skull, but an Earth citizen. I love that. Okay, Julia, an Earth citizen, not one country, global citizen. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we're in this boat as one. And perhaps it shouldn't be the United States anymore, but the United Earth, the United Planets, the United Galaxy. I wanted to let you know that this Thursday, do put it in your diaries, please, Lucy, should have warned you, I'm going to be interviewing Summer Bacon. Now, Summer is an amazing trance channel. She channeled Dr. Peebles and still does once a week. And she was my coach. She was my entry into the channeling. And I'm going to be speaking with her. What an honor she's coming on this live YouTube channel on Thursday, the 8th of July at 8 a.m. Sedona time, 6 p.m. Europe time, Greece time, 4 p.m. UK time. So what I'd like to end up with, well, actually, no, two things I want to say, please. One is Uranus in Taurus reminds me, because it is a bit like being on a boat that's moving with waves. And is it ever going to, you know, are the waves going to stop? Probably not for a while. So the words that come time and again are, this too shall pass. Que αυτό se περάσει. Que αυτό se περάσει. This too shall pass. So if you get a sense like, oh, I'm going a little crazy, just know it will pass. And I'd like to finish up with something that I believe now is in the Creative Commons, so it's common to all, it's not just exclusive, is this wonderful march, the Liberty Bell March, which for some of you, and certainly for me, will remind me of Monty Python's Flying Circus. But this to me is, let's march together and come into tune together. Right now, it sounds as though we're playing a load of violins all off key, which is why it's like there's a cacophony out there. But let's set an intention together on this live stream. Afterwards, if you come afterwards. We're going to... So thank you very, very much for joining. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Drew. Thank you to all of you who you contributed today in so many ways. Let's keep one another awake and free to be who you are to your highest potential. Bye for now.